Welcome back. I am your girl Peaches. This is Peach Talk. I have today with me Miss Kendra. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Okay, well, first off, thank you so much, Peaches, for allowing me to come onto your platform. I'm so excited to be here this morning to speak with you as well as introduce myself to your Peach Talk audience. So, about me, I am born and bred in the state of Georgia. I grew up in Decatur. After completing high school, I moved to New Orleans where I attended Dillard University. After obtaining my bachelor's degree in business, I moved back home against my will. I definitely wanted to stay. I love and adored New Orleans, but unfortunately, Katrina happened, so I couldn't even convince my parents if I wanted to. So I came back home. I embarked on my corporate career. After being in corporate, I became a wife. Soon after, I became a mom. And then that's what actually led me on my current journey as an entrepreneur. I currently reside in Douglas County with my husband and our two kids. The primary thing that I would love for your audience to take away, or that I would love to convey, is that I'm a lover of people. I'm a lover of life. I love to have a good time and sprinkle good energy everywhere I go. And above all, just be a good advocate for instilling goodness and helping my clients reach their goals, which is home ownership or, anything regarding real estate.
Okay, cool. So tell the people a little bit about your real estate business.
So my business, okay, so most people when they think of real estate agents or real estate professional, the last thing you think about is being an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Because when I first thought about being a real estate agent, being a business owner, entrepreneur was the last thing on my mind. I actually entered this world very naively. So with my business, I am a business owner. I have two sides. I have the business side where I am responsible for my own business planning, financial planning, coming up with the budget, marketing, sales, and then I have the customer facing side where I'm responsible for lead generation, cultivating those relationships, which will translate to, a transaction or closing on a property. So yeah, it's definitely a business. I am self-employed. I am my own boss.
And that's always good. Look, I'm trying to get to a point where I can, potentially be my own boss. So,
Look,
I know it's a lengthy journey getting to that point. So, how long have you actually been an entrepreneur?
so I'm in my fifth year. So yeah, I'm in my fifth year on this journey. And it's definitely been a ride. I definitely advocate for it, but you have your highs and your lows. It's not
Right.
always fun, and you can have your stressful moments, but I definitely don't regret it. I would do it over and over again. I wish I had done it much sooner. Real estate has been very good to me. Very good.
That's good. That's good. So what made you decide that entrepreneurship was the best choice for you?
Honestly, I did. When I say I entered this world very naively, I was very green. And so let me back up. Life happened. So I was actually in corporate for a long time. I was very comfortable being in corporate. The way, my parents, their generation was you get a good job, you get benefits, 401, you're comfortable.
Right.
So I purchased my first home about 12 years ago. And at that time, the agent who helped me, she kept saying, like, you should consider being a real estate agent. You will be really good. You have a bubbly personality. I see that you get along with people well. I think you should really consider. I was like, girl, no. Because the only thing I did know about real estate was it's commission based. And I'm like,
Mm,
I like my steady checks. So
right.
So I did not start out to be an entrepreneur. So fast forward to 2017, I was laid off from my company and I was devastated because I absolutely loved that job. I absolutely loved that. I love my boss. God rest his soul. He was a really good mentor, Joseph McGee. And when that company folded, I was like, what next?
Right.
And I failed to mention 3 months prior to that, my mother suddenly passed away.
Oh,
So I
I'm
was in a
sorry.
very dark place where I was just to get up and tap dance and be on was
Right.
the last thing on my mind. So about a year and a half into me doing nothing, my husband was like, man, all right, like I get you grieving and everything, but it's been a year and a half. Like you got to do something. So
Right.
it was a voice inside of me that just I kept going back to Lisa. That was my real estate agent at the time.
Mhm.
I was like, maybe I should do real estate. And then I was like, no. But then one day I remember like it was yesterday. I was lying on the couch and I popped up and I said, I'm going to real estate school. And my husband was like, okay. And I was like, I'm gonna go online and see if I can find a class. Girl, it was the class starting that following week. So I was like, I think I'm going to do it. My heart was like pounding. I was nervous, like that saying, like shit was getting real. It got real
Right.
because I was terrified. So my husband was like, go ahead and do it. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I was like, and I'm putting in the car information to register for class. And I was terrified. I'm like, God, I hope I'm making the right decision. And I did. It became so easy to me. And I mean, it came so easy to me. So I definitely chose the right thing. And I go back and I'm like, if I had to do it all over again, I should have started when Lisa first put that, planted that
Right. Right.
seed.
Right.
But yeah, that's so it was one of those things where I didn't choose real entrepreneurial life or real estate life. It chose me. That was the situation. Like I said, I had no idea I was becoming an entrepreneur. So
Well,
yeah,
that's good though. I mean, because m- it's already hard enough trying to choose a passion to go after and actually work hard
exactly.
and get that, that particular business or that journey off the ground. And so, I mean, things happen for a reason. So, you needed to talk to her at that time and to put that bug in your head to say, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. So I'm happy for you. I'm very proud of you for, making it a success for you and your family. Um Now, did you have help along your journey of entrepreneurship? Like or did you have to like learn trial and error type um
So, first of all, I'm scary by nature. So, but I did have help. So, when you go to real estate school, they don't teach you about running a business.
mhm,
So, towards the end of the program, the instructor was saying, you should connect with a broker, you should find a mentor, someone that can help you because basically real estate school is just here to keep you out of jail. You're
right,
learning the laws and how not to break the laws and doing these transactions because it's a lot of moving parts.
right.
And I remember reaching out to a couple of people in my friend group who were agents, and the willingness to help me was kind of low. And I get it because the industry is very, very competitive.
Mhm.
And for some reason, I thought of Lisa, the real estate agent who sold me my first home. And I was sitting in real estate school and I text her, and we haven't talked in years. I literally text her and said, hey, Lisa, like with a smiley face. And so she responded immediately. It was like, you got your real estate license. And I was like, nope, but you're close. I'm in real estate school and I'll be taking my exam very shortly. Girl, she called me immediately and I texted her, I'm still in class. I'll call you when I leave. So I called her and she was like, well, it's about time. Like you should have did it a long time ago. And thank God for Lisa. She took me under her wing and she
That's
showed me
awesome.
the ropes. So she definitely helped me. And going back to me being scary, I didn't really have a lot of trial and error because I bugged the shit out of her. Like I was like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? So I mean, she definitely helped me. And still to this day, it's so many moving parts and things are constantly evolving. And
Right,
I would be egotistical if I said like I don't need help. Like everyone
right.
needs help. So yeah, I definitely need the help. Trust
That's awesome. That's awesome because not many of us actually have that, mentorship or help along the way. So, I mean, it's always amazing when you can find that support to kind of help you. Because let's face it, like a lot of us, when it's our first time building a business or going after a certain type of entrepreneur path, it's really difficult when you've never done it before.
There's a
So,
lot of things that you just don't know. And then a
right.
lot of people, you're looking at other people's success and you're comparing and you're thinking like,
Mhm.
oh, and you're not really realizing all of the knit and grit that goes behind it. Just
Right.
like when you see a regular real estate agent, you think like, oh, it's just showing pretty houses. And it's so much more to it than just end up showing houses. Like it's a lot.
Oh, trust me. Look, okay. So even when I bought my house, right,
Hmm.
I kind of helped my real estate agent out a little bit because I found my own house,
Hmm.
but that paperwork, I was just like, girl, I trust you. I'm just go inside this thing because
It's a lot.
that
Like we're
was
doing
part.
contracts, we have to negotiate.
Right.
We're literally the quarterback of the deal. So we have to coordinate with the closing attorney. We have to get your
Right.
inspection done. We have to consult with the appraisal. We have to make sure that the closing attorney is doing everything they need to do, as well as communicating with the other agent to ensure that both parties are happy or we can come to a happy medium. So
Right.
it's definitely more to like, oh, I'm just getting dressed in my cute little outfit and I'm going to show this pretty little house. No, it's deeper than that.
Yeah, because I mean, and that was the part I just knew. I was like, honey, being a home buyer, I was not willing to do all that paperwork or try to find the right forms. And I
No,
was like,
because
yes. So
it's
y'all are God sent when it comes to purchasing homes. So I'm gonna just tell you, we appreciate you.
thank you, Ashley, because a lot of people are like, y'all don't do nothing anyway. Y'all make all this money and y'all don't do
Right.
anything.
No, they do. They do a lot of work. Trust me.
Look,
Cause
we
y'all,
do. Look, we
yeah,
be stressing out on the back end. But
right.
yeah.
So how does you being an entrepreneur affect your family in positive ways?
So it actually is a godsend, to be honest.
Mhm.
So it allows me to show up for my family in such a way that I would not. Sometimes I think back to if I was still working in corporate, my hours were most of my time was spent for me serving my employer. I will leave at 6 a.m. and most nights I don't return at 7, like 7 at
Mm,
night. So now I have a home office. I can work from home. I feel like I have the best of both worlds where at times I can feel like a stay-at-home wife and then an entrepreneur because now that I'm 5 years in, I have things in place where yeah, I have to pay people, but it's worth it that they can
right.
go out and show the houses for me if I rather do something for my kids. So my son has been in travel baseball for the last 4 years. And I know you understand because
Yes.
my boys and baseball life is a whole situation. So it's very time consuming. So me and my husband, we're able to basically, be each other helpmate. And like if he can't get off work, I can alter my schedule.
Mm,
I can cook for them. I'm not feeling angry or bogged down where it's like,
right.
leave me alone. I just got home from work and this, that, and the
Right.
third. So I have a happy medium. Initially, when I first got started, because I didn't know that I could basically contract certain things out. I was doing everything and I was running on fumes a lot of the time because it was okay. So let me go back. So when I first came into real estate, I was like, oh yeah, I'll have flexibility and yeah, 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 yeah. You do have flexibility, but you're still on your client's time.
Right. Right.
So, I have to kind of mold my schedule around theirs. Now, with a little bit more experience, I can pick and choose if, like I never, like on the first appointment, I would never send someone else in my place. But
Right.
now, like they trust me and know, like, look, and they know, like, I have a son who does, like, got like so many different things,
Right.
and they are okay with that. So that has been whew, such a blessing. So I'll definitely say being in this career field has allowed me to really, really stand in the gap for my family and not feel like I'm missing out on life. I
That's
have a really good work-life balance.
That's good, and that's you know what that makes for. I know it's really hard even today, where you don't have a lot of companies and actually allowing people to have that good work life and personal life balance.
Yeah.
So I think that's amazing because
Yeah, because when
you
I was
gotta be
working
busy.
corporate, that's what made me like go into that season of how am I going to find something that's comparable to what I had? Because going back to my last job when I was working in corporate America, my boss was so understanding because at the time my children was so much younger. And he will be like, technology allows you to work from anywhere. I don't care, as long as you get, what I need in, you can be at home or whatever. And at that time, working from home wasn't a thing. So when the company folded, I was like, who is going to allow me to work from home or anything, hey, Mish, anything like that? It's not like I have to request time off or get PTO, or I have to take my son to a doctor's appointment or show up for my daughter. It's things like that. And then in addition, I remember just like last week, my son had a tournament on a weekday. He had to be in the field at 7 a.m. on a weekday.
Whew.
And I remember even getting the schedule, and I was like, do they think people don't have jobs?
Right.
Just because the kids out of school, like we still have work.
Right.
Because of my career field, I do have that flexibility where it's like my husband was like, I gotta go to work.
Right.
And I was able to be at the field with him, but it's a blessing.
So we do have a question, although this was actually going to be my next question, as far as what challenges you faced being a entrepreneur, but this person wanted to know what was your difficulties that you faced leaving the corporate world.
Initially, it was just being in corporate allows you to be comfortable. And when you transition to being an entrepreneur, where if I don't work, I don't get paid.
Right.
So it allowed me to plan ahead. So that was the difficulty of coming up with like, I'm a little stressed because now I don't have a check coming in every 2 weeks.
Right.
I have to really get out here and hustle and put myself out there. And I'm kind of shy by nature. So that was my difficulty of getting my name out, like, work with me. I can be great for you. Because at work, it's like, I just got to show up, clock in, right. I'm going to get a check. So it was getting out of that mindset of being bogged down, I guess I would have to say. That was the primary difficulty of just shifting my mindset to like work. I'm finna grind for me as opposed to grind for an employer. But I guess that was the primary thing, because when you're working in corporate, you got your benefits, you got your 401, things like that. It's just shifting to know like, okay, all of this rely on me, and I have to come up with my own plan, my own strategy, as opposed to someone laying it out for me.
Right. That was actually going to be my next question as to how were you able to, but you said how were you able to overcome all of that? And you said you came up with a plan. So, that's really awesome. I mean, because a lot of times we get so consumed with wanting results right away that we don't set a plan to get to that point. So,
and see, that's the thing too. When I first embarked, like I said, I had no idea what I was jumping into, because it was just like I'm going to do it.
Right.
I didn't do any research. So I will say initially I was listening to so many different people, and I'm doing what they're trying to do. So I did waste a lot of money initially, because it was like, oh, this person said they're using this system, I'm going to get this system too. This person said they're using this person to build their website, I'm going to use that person too. And then this other person said, no, you should use this person because they're better, or use this service. So I was becoming very overwhelmed, because I'm like, okay, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at top producers. And honestly, when you're starting out, you need to stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to, because you on a different playing field.
Right.
So I think in the beginning, it was trying to carve my own path, because it's more than one way to skin a cat.
Very much so.
When you're new, and like me, like I said, I dove in, I didn't do the research. I was leaning on everybody else's word, as opposed to just doing my own research to see what would be the best path for Kendra. So I think honestly, that was the challenge in the beginning. I was wasting a lot of time and money chasing these different rabbit holes. Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all hear that? Go with your own niche, do your own research. Don't try to do what everybody else is doing, because what is good for one person may not be good for you.
Exactly. And then now too, you have a lot of people who are online or on social media, podcasts, sharing their experiences, and you can learn from their failures on what not to do.
Right,
But at
right.
that time, I was like, oh my God, I felt so overwhelmed because, like I said, after I got my license, and I'm just like, okay, what's next? I had Lisa, my mentor, telling me to do this. I'm online, I'm on social media, and I'm saying, well, this person's doing this. Maybe I should do that. They are top producer,
Right.
they're doing this. So I was pulling in different directions, but it was only within me.
Yeah.
Nobody was making me pull in different directions. It was just because I was just like, I want to be great. How can I be great in like 2 days?
Right.
Instead of realizing that it's a journey and it takes
Right.
time. And these people that I'm idolizing are looking like I should be doing this. They've been in the industry for like 20 years.
Right. Right.
It doesn't come overnight.
Right. So, you said you've been in it for 5 years. So you were actually in it during the pandemic. So how did that affect you as an entrepreneur, and how did you overcome those pitfalls if it affected you in a negative way?
So initially, it did affect my business negatively. And I think it was the fear. Everyone was scared. It was the fear of, should I leave my house? Should I list my house? Do I want people in my house? Should I
Mhm.
just wait? Will the market crash? It was so many different things of fear where nobody wanted to make a move. So for a while, it was like things were slowing down. And then out of nowhere, the government lowered those interest rates, and it was just like bam, 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 bam. And it shifted my business in a very, very positive way.
Mhm.
So after that, it was just like, well, all right, let me put on these bootstraps. Like, we back to work. I mean, and it happened so fast because initially I was terrified. I was just like, what's going to happen? Because
Right.
everyone was anticipating the market to crash. And even to this day, people are still waiting on the market to crash. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it ain't going to crash, people. So, the values will just keep going up. So, yeah, it didn't. At the end of the day, it did not affect my business negatively as I anticipated, because in the beginning, it was like fear monger of like, oh God, you had the media, the news pumping fear, like, oh God,
Right.
and the market has sustained itself.
I'm gonna tell you like this. I was so jealous when they started lowering the interest rate. I was like, I mean, I know I got a
But
good interest rate, right? I had a 4.1%. So
you could
interest rate
have got a
on my
little
house.
lower too.
But I was like, shoot, they could have lowered that a little bit. I almost refinanced. I was
Look,
like,
I tell everybody if you can, because the mortgage companies were thirsty. You hear me? They
right.
were refinancing, and you didn't have to pay a dime. Like, you didn't have to pay
Wow.
anything for like closing costs or anything. Whereas in a typical day, it's like they want you to pay these different fees. They were
Yeah.
covering all the fees for you. So it was definitely a time because they were just trying to keep the economy strong. And I think it really did go back to the fear because everybody was so scared. And real estate controls so much with the
Right,
market,
right.
with how money is spent.
Okay, so how do you create time for a healthy personal life? Because with you having a husband and kids, people think being an entrepreneur, you got to go, 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 go. But how do you create that personal time for you and your family?
So I have always been an advocate for a good, healthy work-life balance. And this goes back to my corporate days. As I mentioned before, my days were spent where I'm leaving at 6, coming home about 6:37. So
Mhm.
I'm serving my employer. Then I get home, I have to serve my husband and these kids. And then I have to make sure the house is good. And I literally felt like I was drowning as like the person that I am. Because I really didn't have any time to dedicate to myself. When my friends would reach out, I'm like, girl, I'm so exhausted.
Right.
Nothing. And then one day I was just like, no, I really need to put myself first because otherwise I'm gonna be a bitter Betty. And
Yeah.
the last thing I want is to walk around upset because I'm putting all of these expectations on myself that I have to do these things. And I told my husband, like, look, you're gonna have to step it up a little bit more because I'm gonna be a person that you don't like.
Right.
So from then, even before me jumping into this life now. So now it's just on a different level. Like, I'm older. So I definitely feel like Yeah, working is good, grinding is good, but at the end of the day, my family is most important. The
Right.
relationships I have with my friends are very, very dear to me. So I spend the time with my husband, we spend the time with our children. I schedule my lunch dates during the day with my friends. Now, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of my me time do fall between like the regular work schedule
Mhm.
day. Like I'll schedule a impromptu spa appointment, things like that, just so I can feel like I'm not being swallowed up by life. So
Right.
I definitely prioritize and feel like I schedule things out where if I feel like I'm becoming too overwhelmed, I can just take a beat. And like I said, I don't have a problem with paying people to do things for me in my place and they can just report back. So
Right.
that's definitely the way to go. Because I mean, the thing about it is, I can make all the money in the world, but I don't want to hold it if I'm gonna be miserable. I'd rather pay
Right.
people to do things for me, where I could just sit back and say, "Oh, thank God! At least I can spend time
Right.
with my husband. I can go to the spa. I can go have a good meal by myself and just woosah." So yeah, having a personal, healthy life. You know, Ashley. You
Yeah,
know, I
it's important. Trust me. I know. Look,
need.
I'm going
Yes,
because
so you need that.
yeah, of course. Um, so what is some advice that you would give to future entrepreneurs looking to go into real estate?
So that's a really good question. Um, Honestly, find a way to manage stress. And I
Mm,
know that sounds very like, but being an entrepreneur is very stressful at times. And I know initially when I first got started, like I said, I would be overwhelmed and I'm like, oh, I need a drink. Like, just drink me out.
right.
But them drinks can make you be a little unproductive. So
Right.
I would say have something in place that ahead of time that like, okay, when I get stressed out, maybe I need to meditate. Maybe I need
Mhm.
to exercise or do something like that. You really, really need to have something in place for stress because trust me, you'll have your highs and your lows. Some months you're like looking at bills and it's like these deals ain't closing as fast enough because things happen
Right.
out of your control. So having a way to navigate that where you can still be very, very productive is key.
Right.
Because if you go on social media, everything looks great when you see entrepreneur life, and nobody really talks about how stress can have such a negative effect on your day to day, and
Mm,
not only just your business life, but your personal life. So being able to manage that would be really great. And secondly, whatever industry you're interested in pursuing, find someone that you can model your business after.
mhm.
Find somebody to inspire you and allow their success to be your inspiration. See what they're doing, find a podcast, find a YouTube video on what to do, what not to do. It's a lot of things now in place that can help you avoid pitfalls of failing because running a business can be it can easily go up or it can easily go down, so
True.
you can manage that on how your business ends up folding out.
Um,
Research.
so so what are some things that you like to do outside of being an entrepreneur?
So I'm so glad you asked. So when I'm not being a business owner and an entrepreneur, I love to travel. I love to eat. I love to try new restaurants. So I have a new passion. My new passion now, okay. I'll be turning 40 this month. Who
Oh,
almost 40 years old to decide I'm gonna start cooking. Yes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm no longer just making hamburger helper and spaghetti. I'm cooking. So I like to try different recipes. That's like my new hobby. Just trying
okay.
to cook and have a green thumb, be out in the yard.
I'll be coming over to get my plate. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be the
Yeah,
taste
it's
tester.
also like it's crazy because when I cook, I'm always like on pins and needles, like, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? My husband face like it tastes good, tastes good, tastes good. And he's like, God damn, yes, it's good. Leave me alone. So I'm so like that's my new thing. I'm all about cooking right now. I'll send pictures of my food to my friends, and I know they're like, girl, we've seen this a million times. We get it. Cooking. But yeah. That's my new hobby right now. I've always been a foodie. I love seafood. So yeah, cooking.
That's cool. So we do have a question. When your children become an age where they're looking for a job, would you encourage them to be an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the thing about it is, as an entrepreneur, there's no limit to what you can make and what you can obtain. So it's like sky's the limit. When you're working in corporate, there's a ceiling. There's only so far you can go. And I think becoming an entrepreneur allows you to tap into a different side of yourself that you didn't even know existed. You can be
Right.
more understanding. You can be more passionate. Yeah, I think more so understanding that other people need. You can
Right.
be greedy too. I,
Right.
I it can be muddy, but I definitely would encourage my children to do their passion. I mean, it's cool to have a corporate job. I definitely don't talk
Knocking.
negative about that because entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
Right. True. Very true.
And honestly, my husband has been such a great advocate and he allows me to do it because I mean, honestly, I think if I didn't have his support and his steady income, probably things would be a little different.
Right. Right.
So having a partner actually helps too, because like I said, you have your highs and your lows. But yeah, I definitely would encourage my children to do the same.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you think that you've mastered being a guru at real estate, or do you think that you have room for growth?
There is definitely room for growth. Like I said, being 5 years in, it would be very arrogant of me to say I have mastered everything to a T. Because there's so many different avenues and areas of real estate that I have yet to tap into.
Mhm.
I want to continue to extend my reach. Right now, my primary focus is residential. So I would love to get to the point where I'm focusing on commercial and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely room for improvement. And then with technology, just in this short period of time that I've been in this industry, things have evolved so much.
Mm.
So with that in itself, it's like, oh God, I need to start doing this in terms of being more tech savvy and reaching, the millennials who are just like, no, we're not doing paper nothing. Like everything needs to be high tech. So it's always evolving. Always.
Okay, so here's another big question, because a lot of us get discouraged time and time again. How do you stay motivated?
Staying motivated is a job in itself.
So, right.
like, like what? So I have always been an advocate for creating a vision board. I've been doing that for at least 15 years. So every year, I'm a huge advocate for manifesting things and speaking things to existence, writing it down, making it plain. So at the end of each year, going into the new year, I'll create a vision board.
Mhm.
I'll break it into 4 sections. I'll have my family life, I'll have my health goals, I have my social goals, and then I have my career goals. So with that, I'll focus more on the career goals because, with my husband, my children, my friends, my health, that's kind of like a no-brainer because that's important to me. So I tend to focus more with the career goals, and I'll put stuff like I want to sell 30 houses or 40 houses this year. I want to sell my first $5 million home, or it can be outlandish. Like it's a goal, and I frame it. I have it on the wall above my desk. So I literally look at it every day. So I'm looking at this goal. So on top of me looking at this goal, I create quarterly goals.
Mhm.
So January, what am I looking to accomplish? January, February, March. And I do that at every stage of the year with with quarters, and I write out a plan on how I can get there. So
Mhm.
coming up with the schedule will keep me motivated because if I'm looking at my vision board, I'm looking at my quarterly goals, and it's like I can't have X, Y, and Z if I don't do A, B, and C.
Right.
So it's constantly that reminder, and you would be surprised when you're constantly seeing what you say you're going to do. It's like something is tugging inside of you that say, "Girl, Gonna do this. So are you gonna do it or not? Or are you gonna make excuses? And I
Right.
would be lying if I said that every day I stick to my daily goal or whatever I set out to do, because life gets in the way. I get that.
Right.
But
Right.
you have that constant reminder of that vision board and your quarterly goals. Like, well, you said you're doing this, so you need to catch up. So that really, really helps me just keeping a schedule and coming up with a plan.
That's awesome. Yeah, so like I actually just finally did a vision board with, our baby girl, Amisha.
Yeah, that was your first time doing like recently.
That was my first time ever
How
doing
do
a
you
vision
feel
board.
about it?
I I'm feeling
Like,
good
do you
about
feel
it.
like you reaching whatever you put on your goal, like on your board?
So I didn't do so it's good that we're actually doing this interview because I did the vision board, but actually doing the smaller plans to get to those goals,
Mhm.
I'm working on that now. Now I
No,
mean now that
it's
you
really
got
good.
my
Like,
wheels turning.
honestly, keep doing it. Like, because even if it doesn't come to pass that year, maybe
Right.
it'll come to pass that next year. But it's something about seeing it and then you visualizing yourself having the things that you want, and something inside of you just inspires you to make it happen.
Right.
'Cause I mean, when I tell you, I'll sit and be like, I got to do this. Because
Right.
you feel like you're letting yourself down
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
don't, and you're basically shitting on your potential. Because
Right.
it's like,
Right.
I know I can. So it's like, am I going to be lazy or am I going to make it happen?
Right.
Because I mean, though, world is keep going and time is fleeting. So I don't want to just sit around and just let each day pass when I know I could be doing something productive. So
Right.
looking at my vision board really inspired me because I have all type of crazy stuff. Like, it may seem unattainable, but in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna make it happen because it really, like, the more outlandish my goals are, the harder I can work on just the day-to-day level.
Right.
As
Right.
long as I'm taking a step forward, it's better than being stagnant and doing nothing.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Um So do you offer any other services outside of real estate, or is it just
So no, honestly, my primary focus is just providing the best customer service that I can. So with that, my primary focus is residential sales. I'm helping you either purchase a home, a condominium, or a townhouse. Whether you're looking to upgrade, downgrade, if it's court appointed, if you have to do something for a divorce, a parent died, a grandparent died, or something like that, and the property was left to you, I have had situations like that. And then I also work with investors. So with investors, I'm here to help you come up with whatever your goal is. I'm here to reach it. Whether you're looking to make a immediate return on your investment, I can help you find a good property to flip. Or if you're looking for something more long term, I can help you find a good property that will be suitable for a renter. So those are my two niches. I'm either focusing on homeowners or investors. So yeah, that's my bread and butter right now. So that's what I said when it comes to like evolving, and if there's more things to learn, I do plan on tapping into like the commercial side of things and even property management and things like that. It's so many different umbrellas under real estate, things that falls under that umbrella. Yeah.
right? So we are coming to the close of the interview. However, I wanted to let the viewers know that we will have all the links and description of where you can find Kendra. But if you don't mind, can you tell the people where they can find you?
Yes. So the easiest way to find me is on Instagram. It's my first and last name, Kendra Chambliss, KendraChambliss. Or you can find me on Facebook, same thing. And I have a personal app. I'll send that to Ashley so she can link that. So you can download my app and get in contact with me as well. You can see what homes are available in your current market, or if you're looking to decide what's best route for you and your family. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So what are some last encouraging words that you would like to give our future entrepreneurs?
So my last final words would be nothing beats a failure but a try. Do it scared, do it. Doing something is better than doing nothing. Do it.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Kendra, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. This was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Um, thank all the audience for their feedback and for viewing. I appreciate you guys more than life itself. And as always, you guys stay sweet.
Thanks, Ash. Well, thanks, Peaches. I keep calling you Peaches. Sorry.
No problem. No, it's okay.
Thank